We're going to go over season management, MRP online ticket sales, MRP Dropship Apparel, and questions. Those 3 times the questions. If you do have any questions, you can hit Alt and H. That'll bring up the chat window. I will be getting to all of the questions that I have today. Also, towards the end of the call, I will be putting in the link to our survey. Fill out that survey, fill it out. You'll actually get entered into a drawing at the end of this month for $200 off next year's subscription. So $200 off 2020. So feel free to do that. That'll be at the end of this call. So we're going to go over the MyRacePass app. So I'm going to get started here. The app has a lot of really cool things going on. You're able to start kind of changing how everything looks here. Let me switch over here. So we have a couple different options, including our profile image. So we can change this image right here for us. This will be used a couple different places. Same as this header image. You can change that up right here, which I've gone ahead and done. If you'd like to do that yourself, you're more than capable of doing that. We have the templates right here. You're able to match those up. You also can ask us, and we'll create some for you. We'd be happy to do that for you. Another thing we can do for the MyRacePass app here is edit our profile. So in on the app, it's going to keep track of all these things that we put in. So this is the test track here. See, we have the address information, some track information. I could add a description if I wanted to. I have my latitude and longitude found. I've actually gone in and added that in for a few different places. So if there's an ask directions, I'll actually use that and get the directions to where we are. We have the features here, so I can use this to put in different track features. And another thing we have right here is the aliases, so we can actually request an alias. So it's essentially going to say that it's going to help our searchability by finding alternate names that come up for us. So if I was to put in your favorite track, this is the name of this track, but if I was to put in YFT, if we were called that, I could put that in there. We'll actually double check and approve it, make sure everything's okay there, and put that in. So that way, if someone searched for YFT, they'd find it. You can do this with names that the track used to be called, or alias names, kind of also known as names, abbreviation names, and put that in there. That does really help out a great deal. Yeah, that's there. Billing, we can manage our billing right here, and the rewards is another thing I wanted to bring up. So we have rewards for 2019. So everything here are the different goals that we can do. If you actually meet these goals, we have 3 different types of goals with MRP Live, online tickets, and apparel. Each one of these goals is $50. If you hit all 3 of the goals, we'll give you a bonus $100 for a total of $250 off for next year's subscription. So really great thing to get going there. You know, and that does work with if you were to put in the promo code, that does work with that promo code. Not the promo code, or if you were to put in the code you would get for the survey, you would actually, that all stacks up together. So I'm going to show you how to do the tickets and apparel, how to get that up and going, so you can meet those goals. But you can view your progress there on that. We also have myracepass.com/rewards. I'm going to put that in the chat. That's Alt and H. And I'll go over the specific things that it's looking for there for those goals. So let's move right on down into season management. For me, I've actually already put in a lot of information for my season, so I've been able to see my upcoming events, the events that are that have just happened here. I'm able to see people who have registered online that are waiting for me to confirm them. So let's go into this configuration tab. We'll get set up as though we were starting out for the season. If you're just starting out, you'll need to click on this and create a new season. Seasons are where things are going to be, schedules and a whole bunch of things are going to be housed now by year. So it's going to separate those out. You can just create a new season right down here. I already have one for 2019, but you can do that here. And then it'll want you to go here where we can put in our series and our track and our classes that are going to be racing there. So with our series right here, we're going to be able to add the series, and this is going to bring up the search bar. All the ones that have raced in the past for me are here. I'm able to go by past series, so if they've missed a year, we can look that up. We're also able to just use the search bar in here. So if I was to do that, I could find one of these. All of the series are going to have a class associated with them. You can see that your favorite series has Sport Compact associated with it. And so to add that in, I'm going to need that Sport Compact class. It'll ask me if I want to do that. And you can see that it's added in here. So I would recommend just adding in your series first that are going to be racing there. That way you know what classes are going to be used for it. And then we can add in our classes. So when I do that, these are some classes that I raced last year that I chose not to race again for this year. We have a few more options here. So we can go by past seasons. We can go by a sanction. So if I was racing a ISOC class, for example, I can see all of those classes down here. I also can, with my sanction classes, I got those. I can search for classes in all classes right here. And it's going to break it out. So you have the type, and then when you hit next, it'll break out that type more. Here in add classes, we also have the managed classes up here, or right here in the settings, you have managed classes. This is where you're going to get your name overrides. Yeah, you can see that I did that with my IMCA modified. With this, you're going to want to make sure that you're not changing the name to something completely different. So don't put down that your Sport Compact is actually a 410 wing sprint. All of those results, those get shared out, and your drivers can actually add those in there. But they're going to need to know the class, and it's going to need to be something that they're going to be able to figure out. So we want to make sure it matches up as best as possible. All right, got that done. We'll go move right along in here to events. Again, if you do have any questions about anything you've seen so far here or want to see, feel free to ask those. I am going to be answering all the questions that are brought forth. You can go hit Alt and H, and that'll bring that up there for you. So in events, right here, you can actually see I have two different schedules. So points are added to schedules, not to the season or not to the year. So if I wanted to add a schedule, I could click up here. You can use a schedule for a lot of different things. For me, I have one for my year, and then my special events are right here because I don't want to throw off any point averages. So I can create a schedule with all of my events, and then I have this one sort of hidden. I use this edit button to hide it. And then when I apply the points at the end of the night, I apply it to that separate schedule. It works out great. When I go into all events right there, this is all the events that I have for my season. I can add more right here. So if I wanted to add in, let's do the 10th and the 17th. Click next. It'll want me to add in a name for it. I highly recommend that you add in a name for that because it is just going to default to 3/6/2018 event. We want to make sure it's a little bit more eye-catching. than just the base name. We're also going to enter in details about the event here. We can put in the open times here just by clicking. So let's do 5:40. Say gates open at 7, and the hot laps are having kind of a late show. But you can see that it's going to go by that. I'm just making the numbers up off the top here. Then I put in my classes. I'll hit add next. It's going to copy over the classes that I've used. So it's going to try to save time. If I wasn't racing the 360s, but I was racing late models, that's totally fine. We can just switch it up there. It's also going to keep this open times here for me. If I made a mistake, let's say I didn't actually want to add in the 17th, that's fine. We can just discard it. And it won't count there. But you can see our event right there is added in. When we have all of our different events, we can actually manage them here. So let's do that with this event here. My bike night event. So I can add in more times, open times, add in a description, change the name up here. You can see that I do have tickets. I'm going to be doing a little bit more with those tickets here in just a minute. I could also add in a series, which I have, so you can see that your favorite series is here. It's going to be Racing That Sport Compact. I'm also able to see the schedules that this is a part of. So I can see if a driver has added this to their schedule, or another series has added this to the schedule, to see who's going to be also sharing this data with me. So I got my tickets here. I actually created those. We can see on I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to the next day here. It would have this add tickets button. So to add tickets, I'd put when they're available, dates are. If I wanted to do a sale, so let's say I wanted to make it so that anybody that bought them ahead of time or before a certain time got a better price, we could do that. We said if they're going to be rain check or a refund for those. And I can also change the name in here. So I have my general admission. So one that I see a lot is with the kids. I just do 10 and up. We can put in the number of available tickets, put in a price and a pre-sale price. And you can see we have a lot of different options here. When I have those prices in there, I just hit add, and then it'll add that in there for me. You can see that I did that here. I can share this out to Facebook and Twitter right from here, or I can go to this edit screen. This is going to take me to the ticket page. The tickets have its own page right over here, and we're able to see some information about it. So you can make it active or inactive. I've set this as disabled, so I don't want people to buy my tickets here. We're also able to feature it, which means it'll be moved more towards the top of our way to store page, be moved more to there. We have our SEO options. We have the sold tickets option right there, so we can see who's bought those tickets. I'll show you that in just a minute. The redeem tab is right over here, so we can scan the vouchers. We're also able to share this again to Facebook and Twitter. So we have more of that option there. I highly recommend that you share as much as possible with that. You can't make people too aware of what all you're doing with those. So let's see here. I have in my sold tickets. We can see that I do have some people who've bought them. They're going to be will call tickets. So let's say Zach here shows up and he says he's bought 5 pit passes. We'll just cross him off the list, give him his pit passes, be good to go. We're also able to organize this by who's bought what. So if I just wanted just the pit passes, I can see that right here, or the kids admission. So we're able to break this out here and get pretty specific. The redeem window does the same has the same idea. You can actually have a computer hooked up to MyRacePass with this redeem window. When they show up, you can actually scan their voucher, and it'll cross them off for what they're picking up there. You can see that ticket voucher. I actually purchased some tickets to this event. So do you have a voucher available? You can actually, it'll have the policies here, the ticket policy that I've kind of created. I have a different thank you message when I bought those, and then we also put in coupons for the different voucher. You can see that I have $1 off a Pepsi here. I think for the MyRacePass app, and then we have a $10 off for a stay at a hotel. So you can do a lot with that here too. So you do have that option. And you can manage all of those ticket events right here. This is going to be that main ticket page for you. When you go back to, let's say we get to the end of the night, we'll just go back here. We'll hit edit ticket status. If you get us, there's a form we'll need so that we know where we want funds deposited. It'll say, oh, we have your phone number is this. We can hit send code. It's going to text us a verification code. And then we're able to enter in the status here and say that we understand it's completed. And then when we do that, it'll put the funds in our account the following Tuesday. So we have a lot of different options there, as far as that goes for things we can do here. If you have any questions about tickets or how anything like that would work, let me know. Alt and H would be the spot to do that, to ask those questions and be answering those as we get towards the end of the call here, or if they come up. So it doesn't have to be anything I'm going over. It could be things you would like to see. This is really your time to ask those. You can ask it either to me directly. There's a way to ask them to me directly, or if you want to ask them in public. I assure you, if you have a question about something, someone else does as well. So let's go back into our events here. View all of our events. And let's say this event right here, we actually need to do it a rainout. We can do that right here in the event status. We're able to say that was rained out. And if I do that, it'll have its own special little icon there. Be a rain cloud like this. Let's take a look at registrations. So I kind of passed over registrations when I was adding events, but you can actually have your drivers register online. You can see that I have a couple different registrations here. We have a few different options for you. So we have yearly registration, which would be the registration for the entire season. You can only have one of these per year, per season rather. And this is going to be sort of the general list of the weekly racing. Drivers who fill this out and that we confirm are going to be in our entry list. They're going to stay there. All of their information will go into this contact list over here. You can actually see that I have some of that contact list information. You can see the form right here. We do have that form. We're also able to share this again to Facebook and Twitter right from here. So let's take a look. We can see our classes here. I can switch up between them right here. See, I have a driver that needs to be confirmed. I can confirm them. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to put in the name of a competitor and the number. When I do that and confirm them, that means I've accepted them. They're good to go. And they're checked. They are accepted for the year for that. I can also see that all of them here in this blue button have a registration form. Some folks like to have them print this out That way they can take down that Social Security number, federal tax ID number, and they do have a record of that. So that is an option you have as well. I mentioned other registrations that you can do. You can do an event registration or a general registration. A general registration is going to be more open. It's not going to take down any driver information because it's not necessarily for drivers. You can do quite a few different things with it. Event registration would be for a single event. I see it a lot as sort of bigger shows. With an event registration or a single event registration, they're not going to show up on the driver list for you when you check them in. So the idea is that you're going to have a lot of people coming in from out of town, so that when they're checked in, you don't want them to stay in your entry list there or to stay in the big list of drivers after that event. So it won't keep track of them. The yearly registration will, though. Go into points. So here in points, we're actually able to keep track of all of the points that I've applied to my schedule. I can switch up my schedules in here. This is going to be more my yearly one. I'm able to switch in my classes. And if I click on a driver, I can actually see all of their, the breakdown of how they got all the points that they did and their pay. It's also keeping track of the pay for owners right here. And I'm able to filter the status of it, or the standings rather. So if I wanted to see how it looked like at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the racing season, I could do that and see all the points there. Down to the bottom, you're actually able to see which events they're including into this list. So it's including these, and these are the events that it's not including, where there are results, but it's not including them in here. So you can use that to double check and see the different information there. Payments is the last screen we have right here. Payments, when we go to the end of a race night, you do have your points and pay, and then when you create payments, you're actually able to manage all that, and you can see all of them here, what I've paid the different classes. Move right on down into, so I'm going to skip over race management and tickets because we did tickets. Go right into the reports. So these are going to be more big picture reports that you have here, so you have a lot of them to choose from. That keep track of different things. I would definitely take a look at them. They're all very interesting. A lot of folks need quite a few. Ones that I see used a lot are pay by date. This is a nice one because the pay by date lets you have a list of payments here in sort of an Excel format. Kind of export those different ones, so you can export this to an Excel. You have that. A lot of people really like that one. I have the same for points. And there's also, like I said, a lot of different reports here. And I would take a look at them, find out the ones you like. Web management. So web management is going to be the area. It's going to be used for if you have a MyRacePass website. This gets used a lot. But there's other things for you as well, even if you don't have one of those. So you can always post your news right here. When you do, it's going to pop up with articles here. So we have a network of drivers, tracks, and series in MyRacePass. And one of the cool things that we can do is that when you have something or someone here share a news article, in this case my drivers did, I'm actually able to copy that news article or add that onto my own page. And it works both ways. So not only can the drivers do that, but I can do that for the drivers where I post in my top. I can post in my top drivers or anybody else here with the tagging that we have. and it'll share that article across the entire MyRacePass network. So it really helps it spread there. So I'm going to take a look here, make a new one. It's going to want me to go trying to do my job for me. We have our headline right here. We can put in the headline. We can put in the date. But what I was speaking of right here is that article tagging. So the more that you tag here, the better. So you're going to want to tag as much as possible. That really helps the article spread out across to the public. So the more that you tag, the better. Highly recommend that you do that for all your articles. And when you do that, when you create a news article, you're also able to share them to Facebook and Twitter inside there. So I'm gonna go to my St. Patrick's Day one. You can see that I tagged my driver, but I'm also able to share this to Facebook and Twitter. See how many people have viewed it. I can feature it, which pins it more to the top of the page. So I have a lot of options available for me. So always keep that in mind. We have other pages here too for media, managing different photos and videos. Those will show up on your profile page. So it's nice to have those. But what I'm going to show off here is the store. So the store, that's where you would manage your MyRacePass apparel. So some cool things about apparel is that you only need to pay for the design. We actually handle the creation and shipment of the shirts as they're ordered. So what's neat about that is that you don't have to worry about ordering any specific set amounts of inventory when it comes to those shirts. You can actually do, so let's actually pull that up here. So I'm in the marketplace here. You actually see some of the different merchandise that we've done for tracks. We have a couple different options here. The level 1 or the level 2. You can see that this is one here we did for Portsmouth. But you can see we have their logo. We can add in those sponsor information if you want those. And then we can do something like that going for 100. We have another option that has cars in it as well. It's a little bit more freeform. That's 300. But you have to set the prices on those, and then you make the profit on those on the shirts. So really cool thing. Really easy for you to get started. A lot of different styles and colors are available with that. And it is one of the rewards that you have for the year as well. So you can do that and get those rewards here. You only need to sell 50 shirts or 50 items in general to get that $50 off. So highly recommend you. If you have any questions about that or how that will work, again, Alt and H is the place to do that. To ask any of those questions. I am actually going to open it up here to questions a little bit. To take a bit of a break. If you have any questions at all about anything I've gone over or some things you'd like me to go over, now is really your time to ask those questions. Let me know what you're looking for, and we can get those answered for you. So I'm gonna do that. I can go over. I'm gonna get a bit of a drink here. But we can go over points and pay was another thing I was going to go over, creating points and pay schemes. But if you have any questions or something you want to see right now, let me know and we can get that going for you. All right. Well, I'm back here inside season management and race management. Under settings, we also have point schemes. So we have a lot of different options for you to create different point schemes. I'm going to remove one just to make this better on the page. I've actually created a few here for my points. So you can see that I have different sanctions available. The sanctions are actually going to be available right here under add scheme. You can add in the different sanctions and put in the name. And those are good to go. So you can see for IMCA, for example, you do have Those are going to be based on the IMCA rules. If you wanted to create your own, though, this will work for both points and pay. Let's just call this one Thursday afternoon. We can do that. So we'll add a breakdown. Let's just say we're going to put it for our A feature. I'm going to go with 20 cars. First place gets, let's give them 150, and then I'm going to go down by 5 points for everyone, just for example here. So when I hit add, it's going to go do exactly what I told it to do. It's going to take 5 points off of each place for 20 points down. It doesn't have to be as even as that. I can also just change all the different rows here, save it, and that does that for me there. We also can put in show up points and tow money, our non-start points. We can add in more races here too. So we could add in B features, we could add in heats, any race type that you have that you can create, you can add a pay scheme for. So that is something we have there. If you have any questions about that, again, AltMH, the place to do that. Again, this is the questions part of it. We had questions. So you know I'm serious. That's 3 times the questions. I'm going to bring up the window here for the survey. Again, feel free to fill that survey out. You get $200 off next year's subscription. If you fill that out, you get the drawing, that drawing for next year's subscription there. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave it open for questions here for the next few minutes. Again, this is your time, so I mean, if you have those questions and you want them answered, let me know. We'll go over that. Does not have to be anything that we've gone over here. This is your time. If there's something you're not feeling very confident in, let me know and we'll go over that right now for you guys. So we can also do lineup point schemes in here. These would be for passing points. If you're doing passing points, you can create the different lineup point schemes that you're going to be doing over here. I actually used a global point scheme here for it. And from here, just you can see that was created right there. All right, I'm going to be leaving it open here for another minute or so. If you do have any questions about anything I've gone over or anything else, I will leave it open for longer if I get more questions. Otherwise, I will be ending it here about a minute or so. If there isn't any questions there. So you do have the resource here. It's support at MyRacePass.com. If you do have any questions, I'll type that into the chat window. All right. Well, that wraps it up for me for the day. If you do have any additional questions, feel free to email support at MyRacePass.com or reach out to us. We're always happy to help. I'll be on tomorrow next week at 5:30. So it'd be the 25th, 26th, and 27th at 5:30, and another one this next week at 12:30. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of the day.